interesting story that came out. Tua admitted that he considered retirement after a difficult 2022 season. It's not that hard to believe considering he had 2 back-to-back concussions. Health has to be a huge concern here. But Brinson, what do you think about him considering retirement this early on?
Well, the 2 things that stood out to me, one, he said that, he really wants his son to be able to remember watching him play football. And I mean, like, I'm not, I've got I don't know how old his son is. I think like 5 maybe or something like that. Like, I mean, yeah, I got a 9-year-old. And I think that what makes me a little sad, like hurts my heart a little bit, is the idea that like, he's like, I want my son to remember me playing football. It's like, I mean, don't you think, like, wouldn't you rather you remember everything about, like, like, that's like the concern with me. It's like if something bad happens to you out there, like, you might not remember. And we've just seen the toll that concussions can take on players. I know that the player safety is enhanced tremendously from when it was even like 10, 11, 12 years ago. God, remember the freaking James Harrison hit on Colt McCoy like it was yesterday, with Brady Merriweather on Todd Heap. I mean, some of these hits that were going around back in, when we started this working at CBS, guys, were crazy. But it's that part's, it's just tough to hear that part. And I think too, like, if it's a business, probably didn't do yourself any favors with the Dolphins in a contract when you said that you were thinking about retiring after this season. And you're asking the team to potentially this offseason or maybe next, they picked up his 5th-year option, of course, to commit to a long-term deal. And you said you considered retirement. It's hard to imagine how you could even get to a contract, like work out a contract with Tua, knowing that, if he gets 2 concussions this year, like, will he even play next season? Should he even play next season? How do you build up the guarantees, et cetera, et cetera? So I think obviously very juxtapositional concerns from my part there, but those were sort of the 2 big things that stood out to me.
It was definitely fascinating to hear him say that, because you would think, look, I understand that. I will say that as the son of an NFL player, and being old enough to remember him playing, that is absolutely memories that you carry with you your entire life. So, good for Tua that he wants his son to be a part of that and play as long as possible so that his son does remember that. But Brinson does make a good point that, Tua is in a dicey spot in his career, that you just can't keep taking these concussions. And so, if he was mulling retirement this offseason, what's going to happen if he just has 1 concussion during this upcoming season? As Brinson mentioned, they picked up the 5th-year option, and that's now fully guaranteed no matter what. So, that's $23 million that the Dolphins are now going to pay Tua, I think, unless he retires. But it just makes it dicey, because look, you're mulling retirement one off season. What's to keep that happening from next off season if you're dealing with more injury issues? You throw it even more interesting, because on Thursday or Wednesday night or whatever, Tom Brady does this interview and gets asked if he would consider coming out of retirement playing for the Dolphins, and he didn't say no. He just kind of said, well, I have some friends on the Dolphins, and I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm retired right now. So it's definitely a situation worth watching.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just a matter of he said it out loud, where how many players have said this privately to their coach or their GM or their owner, that, you know what, I got 15 concussions last year. I didn't know if I was going to keep playing. And look, when he was on, Tua was really good. And I think that sort of supersedes any concerns about giving a big contract. If he plays up to his potential and plays like the Dolphins thought he would play when they drafted him ahead of Justin Herbert, who's about to get some Jalen Hurts money, then he will also be in that conversation for Jalen Hurts money if he's healthy. But
Justin Herbert will get more than Jalen Hurts money because he's better than Jalen Hurts. But that's here over there.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry, Billy.
All right. So Wilson. Yes, deserved.
Hey,
Looking
Katie,
at the draft and hearing,
the more things change, the more they've stayed the same.
Yes.
Go on.
Yes.
Hey, Ryan, I just want to say to you real quickly.
Outfit. Yes.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is. Well played, Katie. Well played.
Yes, Katie Mox, Kelly Mox. By the way, Wilson, I just want to say, if you like, this is your first time, Katie, seeing Ryan Wilson. This version of Ryan Wilson. This is your first time seeing this version of Ryan Wilson. This is a man who just finished his annual 7-round mock draft and knows that he's a week away from cranking out some winners and losers and giving a big old double, like Bud Adams double bird from the upper deck to the NFL season and coasting off to vacation land where he'll be for a month and a half.
So hoping you were going to say, giving the old capital of Thailand to John Breech on his way out the door.
Hey, Breech, what's the capital of Thailand?
I like this version of Wilson.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay. We won't talk about it. All right, let's talk about the Dolphins draft. Do you think at this point, with Tua talking about considering retirement, we've talked about on the show multiple times that he can't get hurt again. We're worried about him. Should the Dolphins be looking at a quarterback in this draft? And could they trade up in late in the first round if a quarterback comes available? We talked about CJ Stroud potentially going out of the top 10. I know that's just Brinson's take, but what do you think the Dolphins are going to do now?
Yeah, Brinson's take, I have to take with a grain of salt. They only have 4 picks, which is sort of concerning. The first one doesn't come till 51.
I need to go review your mock drafts and just see how accurate we've been here, Mr. NFL Junior Draft Analyst.
Yeah, he's angry. He's getting passive aggressive. It's been a minute.
I feel like it's not. I feel like I'm being very aggressive and not at all passive.
Yeah. But they only have 4 picks in the first round in the entire draft. The first one doesn't come until the second round. So if I don't like a quarterback feels not going to happen in the first round. Hendon Hooker might be an option at 51, but there's conversations that he's going to go in round 1. And I'll say this, if he hadn't torn his ACL, there's a real conversation that he's quarterback 4 if Will Levis is your quarterback 4. So they may have to trade up if they want to get into the Hendon Hooker conversation. But then the question becomes, he's coming off an ACL. He's 25. If Tua plays well and then you get him on a second deal, what are you doing with Hendon Hooker? Are you going to sort of pull Jimmy Garoppolo and look to trade him to another team before the trade deadline, and then that's a whole nother ball of wax. So I don't think quarterback is a realistic expectation for a team that has needs along the defensive line. They need a tight end. They could even get some wide receiver, running back help, and maybe they go in those directions with the understanding that Tua, fingers crossed, is able to get back to his form and stay healthy.
Well, and they traded for Mike White, so don't forget that. I think their plan was to not draft a quarterback because we know that Mike White is good enough. I mean, he started a couple games for the Jets last year. Tore up the Bengals a couple years ago. He's good enough to play. He's a solid backup. So I think that move kind of will preclude them from looking at drafting a quarterback. But I have some breaking news for everyone. As of 2:15, your blue check marks are gone. You're off odds. Get off the podcast.
Yes. Look how angry Brinson is. He's like, oh my gosh, I got to pay $9 a month to be recognized by people that aren't real on Twitter.
And I just put Brinson's profile picture in Slack because I knew it upset him the most.
You bastard. Can I say bastard on here? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I would never pay the $8 for a month for the blue check mark because it's like it completely. Thank you, Billy. Now I'm just like Billy. And now I'm going to unfollow you. Like you pay $8 a month and it's like you hover over the blue check mark. It says this person is verified because they paid $8 a month. Like what? I don't understand. That didn't, like, I can't fathom paying $9 a month for a Twitter blue check mark. Now, if CBS wants to do the right thing and take its high level journalist and talent and give us gold check marks and associate us with CBS, I would absolutely take one of those. Will they do the right thing? That remains to be seen. That's my official statement.
I don't think Elon Musk would allow that. I think it's only actual businesses or corporations.
Josh Norris of Underdog Fantasy has a gold check mark. I saw.
Within 24 hours, Brinson will have filed a lawsuit against Twitter to get his blue check mark back. I
want a gold check mark. I want a gold check mark in these streets with the CBS logo.
Look at the trees. Don't worry about Twitter.
I actually have been tweeting a lot less and don't really care about it.
Well, I unfollowed you, so I wasn't sure, but that's good to hear.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay.